I know that y'all consume a ton of American news because we're right there, and we're pretty loud about it. So I know y'all saw the mugshot and everything. And sure. I was fascinated by that day, but not by him, not by Trump. Most fascinating person to me in that whole day, because Trump went in, turned himself in, and he had a lot of co-defendants, like 10 plus co-defendants that also had turned themselves in that day, take their mug shot, everything. But the person that I'm the most fascinated by is this dude named Harrison Floyd. Right? Now, Harrison Floyd is one of the co-defendants with Trump, and he's the only one out of all those people that did not get a bond agreement, right? He had to sit in jail until he could see a judge. He's also the only one out of all those people that is black. I should also point out, he's also the only one out of all those people that allegedly assaulted the FBI agent that tried to serve him his subpoena, all right? So basically, this dude had to sit in jail because he tried to fight mail, okay? So basically what happens is, FBI show up at the door, try to give him his subpoena. He went for the FBI agent's gun, all right? Then he later admitted to police, if he had got the gun, he would have shot the FBI agent and killed him. He also admitted to police that if he had known it was the FBI at the door, he would have brought his gun and shot him and killed him. All right? That's what we like to call a thought. All right? What was he thinking? Never in the history of niggerdom has a nigga been this dumb. This is the most insane thing I've seen in a long time. He must have forgot he was black. What could possibly be going through your head? That was so insane. It was so crazy. It even made me feel bad for Trump for a second. Because how does he not have one single normal black fan? Every time one of his fans that's black makes the news is always going through something, It's terrible. Trump has a reputation as a racist, and he always talking about how he's the least racist person you could ever be. I don't know. After this, I'm inclined to maybe believe him. He be hanging out with the black people I would never hang out with. That's like truly. I don't know. This dude like a Statue of Liberty for wayward niggas. This is astounding. He's just standing like, bring me your ashy, your dusty, your dumbass masses. The story was so crazy, I'm not gonna lie, I even felt bad for FBI agent. I never thought I'd say that in my life. I even felt bad for the FBI agent, because if somebody goes for your gun for a split second, you gotta think they're going for your dick. You gotta be like... I had this popped in my head out of nowhere. I had this date years ago where we both admitted to each other on the date that for both of us it was our first date in a year. And it was really great. That was such a great thing for us to share, because then we both knew in that moment we were about to be trash. Like, this was... Neither one of us are getting each other's best. We're very rusty. And it actually ended up being a great date. Like, it was a great little hangout. We were getting along wonderfully. The vibe was not there, right? We weren't clicking in that way. But we were like, no, this is like, it's just great to spend time with a cool person, And so at the end of the date, it was like a nonverbal thing. It was just a thing that we were both thinking. We just went ahead and we gave it a shot. Just one kiss, just to see. Because we've been getting along great for 3 hours. What if there's a spark, you know? You don't want to miss out on that. And I should mention that she's not just a lovely person, wonderful human. She also has the biggest hands of anyone I've ever met in my life. Her hands were huge, okay? And I'm not coming down on her hands, because I don't know if you noticed my hands since I've been up here, but I could use some more manly digits. These are not the hands I would have picked if they had been handing out hands. These are piano fingers at best. I was jealous of her hands the whole day. We went to an arcade and we were playing whack-a-mole and she was using the mallet and her hands. She was like, her hands were so strong, she accidentally opened a locked door. Bathroom door was locked. Somebody was in there. She didn't know. She just twisted it. And we all heard the pop. It was a pop because she broke the lock. She has a locksmith right here. They just popped right and opened it. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Spent the whole day jealous of those hands. And so we went to kiss, right? And as we went to kiss, I felt something. I felt something up. I felt something up the back of my head. And I realized it was her hand. She was cupping the back of my head with her hand. I'd never been cupped before. I didn't even know that was a move people were doing in real life. Like, and if you were far away, it must have looked like my whole head fit in her hand. It must look like she was cupping a baby in her hand. And then I could feel this. I could feel this pressure from her kiss that was knocking me off balance a little bit. And that's when I realized, I'm like, wait, this bitch trying to dip me. I started fighting the dip. I was like, you ain't gonna dip me. You ain't gonna dip me. I'm a man, you ain't gonna dip me. Because think about it, if we have this kiss and there's a spark and we start going out, you gotta establish parameters early. If you let her dip you on the first kiss, the first time y'all smash, your legs will be in the air, bro. That's just the law. She already established dominance, all right? And so I'm fighting. I'm like, you ain't gonna dip me. You ain't gonna dip me. I ain't going. I'm sure I gave her the worst kiss of her life because my core was on fire. So I'm sure I was kissing just like. I don't know. In those moments of the kiss couldn't have been more than like 8 seconds, but a lot was going on. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. In that kiss, I kind of felt, at least what I imagined, like I almost feel like I felt like a woman for a second, because I was like, you know what I mean? Because I was like safe but in danger. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like she had me, but she might take me. You know? This is a beautiful, beautiful time of year. This is my favorite time of year because it's so fresh. I could do anything. I could really be anybody so far, you know? And by January 10th, I'm like, I'm me. Never mind. I had a lot of plans, but a week and a half. It's so early in the year, it's almost weird if you've already had a bad day. You know what I mean? But this is New York, so you know somebody has. I was on a bus on January 2nd and just heard a guy go, fuck, just to himself. I don't know what was going on in his life, but January 2nd, he was like, it's over. That's a wrap. Oh, it's crazy. I also love this time of year because it's the last little bit of runoff where you're still trying to return Christmas presents, like the bad ones. Like you on the phone with customer service, like, no, I have the receipt, please. Like it's. And this is the thing: a lot of people give gifts and everything, but they don't know if they gave a good gift to the person, especially if they don't know them well, right? And my thing is, this is how you tell if it's a good gift in this present day we live in. If you didn't get a gift for someone from a store that was looted in 2020, that's not a good gift. I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what I mean? It's a very easy metric now because, look, I'm just saying, everything's free when we looting. And there are brands that know that they didn't get touched. Like, honestly, if I was a shop owner, I would be embarrassed if I showed up the morning after a riot and I get to my store, Nike store ransacked, Louis Vuitton store unrecognizable, and then my store pristine, not even broken glass. I'd be like, I gotta hang it up. I didn't know it would be like this. Can I burn it down and say it was part of the riot? Cause this is a shame. I remember that was a very specific time. This is my favorite thing about any riot that happened in the U.S. in 2020. There were some stores that boarded up that really didn't need to bother. Like, nobody talks about that, but there are a couple places that were like, oh, we gotta batten down the hatches. Like, no, you really don't, I promise. Nobody is checking for you, okay? There were brands that were feeling themselves. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but you can look this up. This is a real thing that happened. In 2020, during the protests, there were Sweet Greens that boarded up in preparation. Sweet Green. I want to meet the person who made the decision. I want to meet the person who was like, all right, it might get crazy out here in Seattle. And you know it when it gets crazy. You know what niggas love is arugula. So we got to hold it down, all right? Got to protect the inventory, okay? Oh, no, you don't need to bother. You know, I said all that to say if you got me a Christmas present this year, a gift card from Sweet Green, you fucked up. That wasn't the move. You bought me grass. Have y'all been watching that Squid game show? Okay, if you haven't watched it, then genuinely, I'm begging you, don't watch it. Okay, if you don't know what Squid Game is as a show, Squid Game, the show is a Korean drama, all right? It's probably one of the best TV shows that we have that fully encapsulates the idea of capitalism and what we do to each other when we're lacking, when we have need, and when there's literal money floating over our heads, the links that will go, right? And even the show becoming a show is a Cinderella story because the guy that wrote it, he pitched it around the world for 10 years and nobody wanted it. Finally, Netflix bought it. They put it up on their platform. It became an international sensation. There's games, there's toys, there's everything. And then they made the game show, which is weird. That's pretty odd, because that means they also watched the show and they saw what a commentary was on the human psyche when it comes to money, when it comes to access and everything. And then they were like, yeah. We should do that. Yes, we should do that. Let's round up these pores and make them battle it out. We'll get 400 of the saddest stories you've ever heard in your fucking life. It's insane. And this is the other reason that I'm begging you not to watch it, okay? In the show Squid Game, the Korean drama, when you lose, you die. In the game show, when you lose, a pack goes off. It explodes on you, and it's black. It's not red. It's ink. Squid Game, very clever. And it explodes, but they still make the people fall like they died. And it feels like they test running killing a person in front of us. Do you know what I mean? Because when I was watching the show, the first person lost and then they fell. And I was like, that's a little dramatic. All right. And then 12 more people fell. And I was like, wait, are they really killing people on my TV right now? Because if they are, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Because they already shot the show and I'm at home. But can we make sure that for season 2, they don't kill anybody? Because I'm gonna finish a show. It's compelling. But it's just a weird thing. I don't know. It's very unsettling because they make all these people tell the saddest parts of their life and they cut to them in the show and you know they're not going to win. Why are you telling me this is a physical American Idol. Why are you telling me the sad story and you know they're not going to get far? That's terrible. It would be a dude with the biggest tearjerker you could ever imagine. He's like, I'm just want to bring money back home for my cousin. He's got cancer herpes and he doesn't have a real house. He got half a house, so I want to pay for him to finish his house because he get rained on anytime it rains sideways a little bit, and so I just want to have a full roof for him to be under, not half a roof, because he really got like half an umbrella over his head right now, and so I just want to do something nice for him because he donated a bunch of his bones to orphans, and so he already didn't have a good life to begin with. And then they zoom out of the person playing the game and you see he's the shortest man that's ever lived. You're like, he's not gonna get far at all. Physical limitations alone. Why are you getting me attached to his story? Or even worse, they'll interview like a smart woman and you be like, they not gonna let her get far at all. She gonna slip up and say a big word in front of him and the dumbs are gonna jump on her. She gonna say one of those encyclopedia words that be like, get her out. She look like she can do puzzles. No, so jarring. Are y'all also following this Gypsy Rose thing? Okay. In case you don't know anything about Gypsy Rose, I'll try to bring you up to speed as quickly as possible. Gypsy Rose is a young woman, used to be girl. She was a girl when all this happened. Her mom has Munchausen by proxy, so her mom convinced her she was sick, convinced everyone else she was sick, told people she was sick, raised money for her because she was so sick. So she was like GoFundMe before GoFundMe, right? And so she was like raising all this money and everything. Then Gypsy realizes, hey, I'm not as sick as you're making me out to be. Around the same time that this happens, right? She makes a friend online. They start dating. That becomes her boyfriend, okay? And then she tells her boyfriend, you need to kill my mom so we can be together. I was not in the room when this conversation happened. But the way that I think it went was Gypsy gets close to this person and is like, you're going to have to kill my mom so we can be together. And then he said, I was planning on killing somebody anyway. Because it took so little convincing. This man is clearly out of his mind, right? Killing a mom should be several conversations. You should have to wear me down to kill your mom. If you tell someone, I need you to kill my mom so we can be together, and they go, yup, you are also in danger. That is absolute insanity. He said yes so quick. That's the reddest flag there is. He said it so quick. Once again, I was not in the room, but he agreed to it so fast. I'm pretty sure he finished her sentence. I'm pretty sure she was like, hey, I need you to. He's like, kill your mama, I got it. And she was like, I was going to say pass the remote, but okay. And so then that's what happens. They meet up and then he kills the mom and then they get caught immediately. They get caught so fast. I was genuinely disappointed in them. I was like, you couldn't make it a day. You got caught. They got caught so insanely quickly. And so then they're not together anymore because then they flipped on each other and everything. And it's hard to stay together when you first 48'd each other. Like, where you just immediately like, it was his crazy ass. I said it at once and he did it. And so then Gypsy got way less time than him and she got out. She's out now. She got like 7 years. He got life because I'm pretty sure she only had to remind him once. I'm pretty sure she only had to be like, hey, that thing about killing your mama, yeah, it's on my calendar. All right. And look, I'm just saying, the main thing that they did wrong, besides killing a person, the main thing that they did wrong is that they didn't really understand the internet the way we don't really understand the internet. So all they did was have the most incriminating conversations online, right? I'm pretty sure they Skyped at one point. I was like, can you stop doing recordable stuff? And so then she gets out, and I saw like a TikTok of her, wishing everybody well, thanking everyone for wishing her well and everything, saying Happy New Year's. And then she said something interesting to me. She was like, I'm spending New Year's with my dad, my stepmom, and my husband. And I was like, husband? And I was just shocked. I didn't know she had a husband. So I looked into it, and she had met somebody, and they got married in 2022. And I looked him up. Have y'all seen the husband? Yeah. Y'all seen? Okay, that man looks more like the Kevin James meme than Kevin James. I was genuinely blown away. There's a picture of him with Gypsy Rose where he's like, and it's not even a diss. That's just his swag. Is that like cheeky, everything. And then apparently some people were coming for him online for some weird reason. I have no idea. And then Gypsy came to his defense, and she was like, "It's okay, baby. They're just jealous because the D is fire." You know what? I'm glad you had a happy ending. I'm glad you're okay.